Summer of 1963. A screen door stretches open on its spring and claps shut behind a barefoot kid. Somewhere above the hallway, a whole house attic fan is pulling night air through every open window. A transom window is propped open above the bedroom door. The curtains pull inward like the house is breathing, because it was. These are 25 home features that were standard in American houses for the better part of a century. Every single one of them is gone. And most of them were not replaced by something better. They were replaced by something more profitable. Now, before we dive in, tap that subscribe button. You will not want to miss what is coming next. Number 25. A conversation pit was a living room dropped 2 or 3 steps below the main floor. Built-in cushioned seating ran the full perimeter. No couch to arrange, no chairs to pull up. Just a pit in the floor designed for one thing: talking to each other face to face. Ira Saarinen built one into the Miller House in Columbus, Indiana in 1958. A square pit, vivid red carpet, cushions that changed color with the season. Architectural Forum published it, and within 5 years, conversation pits were showing up in suburban ranch houses coast to coast. The Dick Van Dyke Show had one on set. So did the Mary Tyler Moore Show a decade later. Kids built blanket forts in them. Adults argued politics shoulder to shoulder, 2 steps below everyone else in the room. You could not sit in one without looking directly at another person. By the 1980s, they were filled in with concrete and leveled flat. They were replaced by oversized sectionals aimed at a television. A house used to be designed to make people look at each other. Now it is designed to make them look at a screen. That pit was a statement about how a family should spend an evening, but it was not the only feature designed around connection rather than convenience. Number 24. The full-depth front porch. Not a decorative ledge with 2 plastic chairs. A covered outdoor room, 8 to 12 feet deep, furnished like it meant something. Porch swings from the Sears Roebuck catalog sold for $3.95 in 1955. Metal gliders squeaked on every pass. Ceiling fans turned slow. Neighbors walking by stopped to talk without ever being invited inside. Fireflies came out at dusk. A baseball game drifted from somebody's radio 3 houses down. You did not need a reason to sit there. The porch was the reason. AR conditioning sealed the American house shut. The porch became a decoration, and the neighborhood became a place where people waved from their cars and never stopped. The porch connected the house to the street, but inside there was a feature that connected the house to itself, floor by floor, without a single trip on the stairs. Number 23. The laundry chute. A vertical aluminum-lined shaft running from the upstairs hallway or bathroom straight down to the basement laundry room. Ladies' Home Journal and McCall's ran articles in the 1920s calling them marvels of domestic efficiency. The Federal Housing Act of 1934 offered insured loans up to $2,000 for homeowners to install built-in chutes, cupboards, and broom closets. The earlier wooden chutes were replaced by aluminum after the sanitation movement pushed for cleaner materials. You heard the hollow thump of a bundled towel dropping 2 stories. Kids threw stuffed animals down it. The bathroom hamper never overflowed because the dirty clothes were already gone. Modern builders moved the washer and dryer upstairs and called the problem solved. But the chute was never just about laundry. It was about a house with systems. A house that moved things for you the way a good workshop keeps tools within reach. Number 22. Transom windows above interior doors. A narrow horizontal window, usually hinged, installed over every door in the house. Opened and closed with a long brass wand on a hook beside the frame. Standard in American homes from the 1880s through the 1950s. You open them in summer to let hot air rise and escape from bedrooms. In winter, they pulled warm fireplace air into cold hallways. Light from the front parlor bled through the transom and lit up an interior hall without electricity. The glass was sometimes frosted, sometimes leaded, sometimes just plain. The wand was always there, always within reach. Central air made them unnecessary. Builders stopped installing them by the 70s, but what vanished was not just ventilation. It was the understanding that a closed door did not have to mean a sealed room. That privacy and airflow could exist together. That a house could breathe with its doors shut. That house breathed through its transoms. But it also breathed through something most people alive today have never even heard of. Number 21. The whole house attic fan. A massive blade, sometimes 30 to 42 inches across, mounted in the ceiling of the upstairs hallway. It pulled air from every open window in the house and pushed it out through the attic vents. There was a low roar when it kicked on at dusk. Curtains pulled inward. Doors slammed shut if you did not prop them open. You cracked your bedroom windows 6 inches and the fan did the rest. Whole neighborhoods ran them on summer nights. You could hear the collective hum the way you hear air conditioner compressors today. Except the attic fan pulled the outside in. You smelled the neighbor's cut grass. You heard the crickets. You fell asleep under a moving column of night air that no thermostat has ever replicated. Number 20. The milk delivery door. A small insulated compartment built into the exterior kitchen wall, roughly 12 by 18 inches. 2 doors, one outside for the milkman, one inside for the family, both locked only from the inside. A 1927 Majestic Products catalog advertised them as a way to receive milk and groceries without going outside or opening a door of the house. The milkman arrived before dawn, glass bottles clinking, cream rising to the top and the neck of the bottle. Families left empties and coins inside the compartment the night before. By the 1960s, supermarkets and suburban sprawl made those delivery routes unprofitable. The last year the USDA tracked home milk delivery was 2005, down to 0.04% of households. Most milk doors are plastered over now. The ones still there are ghosts of a time when the neighborhood came to your kitchen wall every morning. 5 features gone already. Notice what they share. Every one of them was designed to reduce labor, increase airflow, or strengthen connection. Between rooms, between floors, between neighbors. Not one of them needed a power cord. The house itself did the work. Number 19. The built-in telephone nook. A recessed alcove in the hallway wall with a small shelf and sometimes a bench seat designed for the household telephone and nothing else. Sears catalogs offered phone cabinets you could install yourself. The shelf was 12 inches deep and 24 inches wide. A heavy black rotary phone sat on it like a piece of furniture. The cord stretched just far enough to reach the bench. Conversations happened in the hallway where everyone could hear. There was no privacy, and nobody pretended there was. The phone left the wall, and the family lost the last shared communication device it would ever have. Today, every person in the house carries a screen in their pocket, and half of them do not speak a word to each other at dinner. Number 18. The cedar-lined closet. An entire closet. Its walls, ceiling, and floor lined with aromatic Eastern red cedar planks. The smell hit you the second you opened the door. Sharp, woody, clean. Eastern red cedar oil contains a compound called cedrol that repels moths, silverfish, and carpet beetles naturally. Your grandmother's wool coats hung in there. Your grandfather's military uniforms. Your mother's wedding dress in a cotton garment bag. The wood needed sanding every few years to refresh the oils. Nobody minded. Opening that door was like stepping into a forest. Replaced by mothballs, then plastic garment bags, then closet systems made of particle board that smell like glue. The cedar closet did not just store clothes, it preserved them. And the smell of it was the smell of opening something that mattered. Number 17. The razor blade disposal slot. A narrow slit in the back wall of your medicine cabinet, sized to accept one used safety razor blade at a time. Gillette released the first home safety razor in 1903. By the 1920s, medicine cabinets came with disposal slots as a standard feature. You slid the used blade through the slit, and it dropped between the wall studs. It just stayed there. Houses built between the 20s and the 70s all had them. Renovators today open bathroom walls and find hundreds of rusted Gillette blades stacked on the bottom plate. Decades of a family's morning shave sitting in the dark behind the mirror. Every blade was held by a hand that is probably gone now. And the house kept them all, which leads to something else the house kept beneath your feet that you probably never noticed. Number 16. Real hardwood floors under everything. Not engineered hardwood, not laminate. Solid tongue and groove oak, maple or pine planks nailed to the subfloor, one board at a time. Quarter-sawn white oak from Appalachian mills. The boards were wider in older homes, sometimes 6 to 8 inches. They creaked in specific spots, and every family knew which ones. The floor near the kitchen doorway was worn into a shallow valley from 40 years of foot traffic. You refinish them every decade or so with a drum sander and a can of polyurethane. They came back like new every single time, covered first by linoleum, then wall-to-wall carpet, then vinyl plank. 3 generations of flooring glued on top of something that would outlast all of them. The original wood is still under there in millions of American homes right now. Waiting. Number 15. The built-in breakfast nook. A small booth built into the kitchen wall with 2 bench seats facing each other and a fixed table between them, usually tucked under a window. Common in bungalows and craftsman homes from the 19-teens through the 1950s. The benches had hinged tops with storage underneath for tablecloths, napkins, and school supplies. The table fit 4 people, shoulder to shoulder. Morning light through the window, coffee percolating on the stove. The newspaper folded in thirds so it fit on the table next to a plate of eggs. Replaced by the kitchen island. More counter space, they said. But the island faces the stove. The nook had people facing each other. Number 14. The sleeping porch. A screened-in porch on the second floor, furnished with beds or cots for sleeping outdoors on summer nights. Standard in American houses from around 1900 through the 1940s. Originally promoted by the fresh air movement. You dragged a mattress out after supper and fell asleep to tree frogs and the occasional distant train. By mid-century, families screened them with copper mesh and added canvas roll-down shades for rain. Children fought over who got the sleeping porch in July. It was the best room in the house, and it had no walls. Air conditioning made it obsolete by the 60s. Most were enclosed and converted to spare bedrooms. The house gained square footage and lost the sky. Here is the pattern forming. Every vanish feature either brought the outside in, moved people closer together, or trusted the house to solve a problem without electricity. The modern home sealed the outside out, spread the family to separate rooms, and plugged every solution into the wall. Number 13. The butler's pantry. A narrow room between the kitchen and the dining room with its own countertops, sink, and glass front cabinets. The good china lived there, the silver service, the crystal glasses that only came out at Thanksgiving and Christmas. The cabinets had leaded glass doors and brass hardware that tarnished if you did not polish it every month. It was a staging room. Meals passed through it on their way to the table. Open concept kitchens eliminated the wall between cooking and eating. The butler's pantry vanished with it, and so did the brief ritual of carrying a finished meal into a room, the quiet theater of presenting dinner like it was worth the effort. Number 12. Pocket doors. Full-size doors that slid into a cavity inside the wall instead of swinging open on hinges. They were standard in Victorian and Edwardian homes. Heavy, solid wood, sometimes with frosted glass panels. They rode on overhead tracks with brass rollers. There was a soft, almost musical rumble when one slid shut between the parlor and the dining room. You could seal 2 rooms into one for a party and divide them again in 5 seconds flat. Builders stopped installing them because they complicated the wiring and plumbing inside the walls. A pocket door gave you a wall when you needed a wall, and a room when you needed a room. A hinge door just gets in the way. Number 11. The root cellar. An underground room usually accessed through a hatch door in the backyard, dug into the earth to keep vegetables, canned goods, and preserves cool all year. The air hit you when you lifted the hatch. Cold, damp, earthy, smelling of raw potatoes and stone. Shelves lined with mason jars of tomatoes, green beans, applesauce, and pickled beets. Burlap sacks of potatoes and onions on the floor. Temperature sat around 50 to 55 degrees with no electricity at all. It doubled as the tornado shelter, and the place a family stored enough food to survive a hard winter without a single trip to town. The root cellar was not a feature. It was a statement of preparedness. The refrigerator replaced it. The grocery store replaced the jars. And the assumption that the supply chain will never break replaced everything else. Number 10. The Dumbwaiter. A small manually operated elevator, roughly 2 feet by 2 feet, running between the kitchen and the basement or between floors. A rope and pulley system. The wooden box rode on rails inside a shaft between the walls. You loaded groceries or dinner plates, pulled the rope and sent the box up or down. You could hear the creaking of the rope through the pulley wheel. A cleat on the wall let you tie off the rope so the car would not drop. Before refrigeration, families lowered perishables into the cool basement on the dumbwaiter every evening. A house solving its own problems vertically, with nothing but wood and gravity. Number 9. The coal chute. A small cast iron door set into the foundation wall, through which the coal delivery man shoveled fuel straight into the basement bin. The thunder of coal sliding down a metal chute into the bin below. It happened weekly in winter. Coal dust settled on everything in that basement corner. The iron door had a latch that locked only from the inside. You can still spot them on old houses today. Small iron rectangles at ground level, painted over a dozen times, but still there if you know what to look for. The coal man was as regular as the milkman. When natural gas lines reached the suburbs in the 1950s, the coal chute became a sealed door to nowhere, and one more person stopped coming to the house. 9 of these features involve someone coming to the house. The milkman, the coal man, the iceman. The house had doors built specifically for the people who served it. When those people stopped coming, the doors were sealed shut. And the house became a place that nobody visited unless they were invited. Number 8. Picture rail molding. A horizontal strip of molding mounted about 1.5 feet below the ceiling. Adjustable brass hooks slid along the rail. Pictures hung from wire on those hooks. You could rearrange every painting in the house without putting a single nail hole in the plaster. Hardware catalogs from the 1940s listed over 50 styles of picture rail hooks. The rails stayed in place for decades. The art moved whenever you felt like it. Drywall replaced plaster and the rail vanished. Now you drive a nail into a wall that crumbles if you sneeze near it. The molding assumed the walls were too valuable to puncture. Drywall assumes the walls are disposable. Number 7. The dust chute. A small trap door built into the baseboard or kitchen floor. You swept dirt toward it, kicked it open with your foot, and the mess dropped into a sack in the basement. Some homes had them in multiple rooms. The door sat flush with the floor or the kick plate, barely visible. A burlap collection bag hung underneath in the basement. The house ate its own mess. No dustpan, no bending, no hauling a trash can room to room. Somebody designed that feature because they watched a woman sweep a floor and thought, she should not have to bend down for this. Number 6. The built-in ironing board. A shallow cabinet in the kitchen wall folded down into a full-size ironing board, then folded back and disappeared behind a door that looked like any other cabinet. Common from the 1920s through the 1950s, the cabinet was about 14 inches wide. The board dropped on a hinge, with legs that unfolded on their own. The steam rising from hot cotton, the hiss of a spray bottle. All in the same room where supper was cooking on the stove 5 feet away. Wrinkle-free fabrics and casual dress codes made daily ironing rare. The cabinet is a curiosity now, but the woman who stood at that board every morning pressed shirts, because looking sharp meant dignity, and dignity was not optional. Number 5. The outdoor clothesline pulley system. 2 pulleys, one on the house and one on a pole across the yard, with a continuous loop of cotton rope between them. You stood in one spot and the line brought the clothes to you. Monday was wash day. Sheets went up before noon and came down stiff with sun and wind by 3. You could hear the squeak of the pulley, wooden clothespins with the wire spring. The smell of sun-dried cotton, a smell that no dryer sheet on any shelf in any store has ever come close to. Homeowner associations banned them and suburbs declared them eyesores. A device that used nothing but sunlight and moving air was outlawed because it did not look expensive enough. Today, nearly 2/3 of American energy used in the home goes to heating, cooling, and appliances. A clothesline used 0 energy. Number 4. The indoor basement clothesline, a secondary pulley system running along the basement ceiling near the furnace for drying clothes in winter. The warm, slightly damp air of a basement on a Monday afternoon, shirts and towels hanging above your head in neat rows. The rope hummed when you pulled it. The furnace kicked on and the fabric swayed. No dryer needed, no energy cost. The house was already making heat. Somebody just hung a rope in the path of it. The people who built these houses did not have engineering degrees. They had observation. They watched heat rise and put a drying line in its path. They watched air move and put a window in the transom. Every feature on this list is a conversation between the house and the laws of physics. Somewhere along the way, we stopped listening. Number 3, the kitchen pass-through. A small opening in the wall between the kitchen and the dining room, sometimes with a hinged shelf or a sliding panel. A platter of pot roast slid through that window to the dining table, with the cook never leaving the kitchen. Some had a small counter on the dining room side for setting plates. The heat, the mess, the work stayed behind the wall. Only the finished meal came through. Open concept kitchens erased the wall entirely. Now the cooking is visible, the mess is visible, and the meal has no moment of arrival. The pass-through gave dinner an entrance. Number 2, the window seat with built-in storage. A cushioned bench set into a bay window or a deep window frame with a hinged lid and a compartment underneath. Velvet or cotton cushion, worn thin on one side from years of someone sitting in the same spot. Blankets, board games, photo albums tucked away under the lid. Rain hitting the glass 6 inches from your ear. A child curled up with a book in the last light of a winter afternoon, knees pulled to the chest, back against the window frame, replaced by a flat wall and a window too small to sit in. A window seat turned dead space into the best chair in the house. It told you that pausing was part of the plan. Number 1, the screen door that never locked. Not the porch again. The door. The screen door on the front porch of a house in any town in America. Sometime before the world decided trust was too expensive. The spring-loaded hinge pulled it shut with a slow wheeze and a sharp clap. The mesh was fine enough to keep the mosquitoes out, but open enough to let everything else in. The hook and eye latch a 4-year-old could open. The porch light left on after dark, not for security, but for company. A neighbor walked up the front steps, opened the screen door, and sat down without knocking. Nobody called first, nobody texted, they just came by. And the door was built to let them. The sound of that screen door closing is the sound of an entire way of living. It meant the house was open. It meant the neighborhood was safe. It meant trust was the default and not the exception. You cannot buy that door at any hardware store today. Not because they stopped making it, because the world it was built for is gone. 25 features. Not one of them needed Wi-Fi, a subscription, or a password. They needed wood, glass, rope, gravity, and the belief that a house should know how to take care of the people inside it. The houses knew. We forgot. And if you want more forgotten wisdom from the generations who came before us, watch the next video right now.